What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. Now here's Ancient Modern Britain Volume 2 by David McRitchie. Now I'm gonna go to page 4. I want to say 414. I'm gonna use several books right here. 414, I believe. Can't get that information because I want you to pick up on certain things. All right, I'm gonna start right here. Read right here on page 414. I'm going to stay reading. In the story of Kanal Guban, Kanal and his comrades are warring against Turkath, properly translated Turks by Mr. J.F. Campbell, but it would be as reasonable to use the word Boer in this story as to use it in the song of Alan Mac Roderick, or Rodrigo, or Rory, or Roy. He is spoken of as the black-skinned Boer, but we should probably understand his position better as the black-skinned Turk. That, therefore, the Moors or Saracens, who are remembered in British tradition as making depredations in various quarters, were also known as Turks, is very probable. Indeed, a meaning which this word, Tork, bears in Ireland shows that it has been used to designate a race of rulers, because in Ireland, Turk not only means a Boer, but it also means a sovereign, a lord. Now, Ireland could never have been governed by four-footed Boers, though much of it felt the power of the black Tartarians of the Baltic, and these must have been the kind of black Boers who rule is still remembered in British topography. Let me see, you see the word black. It felt the power of the black Tartarians of the Baltic, and these must have been the kind of black Boers who ruled is still remembered in the British topography. In Galloway, also, which is the district celebrated for the inroads of Moors or Saracens, from whom have come many clans distinguished by the Saracenic emblem of the crescent moon, there were people who, so recently as year 1666, were armed with crooked swords like Turks, and the curved blade known as a gillie was probably of the same origin. Indeed, one particular gillie is assumed to have been some blacksmith work in Fife, having probably issued from the gypsy foundry called Little Caron. We are told that this kind of sword was a common weapon with the Black Danes, to whom it was known as the Attigar, being the same scythe-shaped weapon as the Turkish Yatagan. Indeed, the description given of the black Danish arms and armor are consistently oriental: scale armor, descamated, battle axe, gilded helmets and hilts, and the same scythe-shaped weapons as the Turkish Yatagan. Alright? Notice you see, I'm showing you the Black Danes. You know who the Black Danes were. Alright? You know who the hell the Black Danes were. Let me show you the Black Danes. Now, get off of that. Rediscovered in Vinland, evidence of ancient Vikings' presence in America. All right, we're going to go to page 64. Thorhall's departure. Now, this was a Negro, man. When you start studying, you know this. Thorhall was a Negro. All right, so here's Thorhall the Hunter is unsuccessful in swinging others to his views. When it is time to sail, he evidently had his own ship. He splits off from the others and goes on his own way with an apparent bare-bones crew of 9 men. He leaves with this parting shot of embittered verse: "They flatten my confiding ear. with tales of drink abounding here. My curse upon this thirsty land, a warrior's train to bear a brand. A pail instead I have to bring, and bow my back beside the spring. For near a single draught of wine has passed their parched lips of mine. The Negro rhyming. Here is a variation for added interest. When I came, these brave men told me, here the best of drink I get. Now with water, pale behold me. Wine and I are strangers yet. Stooping at the stooping at the spring, I've tasted all the wine this land affords. Of its vaunted charms divested, poor indeed are its rewards. Alright, now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read something real quick. I'm not going to sit up here all day, but here it is. The affection in which it seems to have been held, becomes more apparent as someone keeps tabs on him, avoiding abrupt eviction from the sagas. His courses are unfruitful and also unlucky. He suffers a terrible trip and eventually makes landfall off Ireland. His landing there is among a people long exasperated with incursions of pestiferous Vikings. Thorhall and company are imprisoned and enslaved, beaten and abused. It is said that Thorhall was killed there eventually. News of this unhappy result reached Greenland many years later. This failed trip also indicates the great distance of Vinland from Greenland, as well as the location of Lifsbyrdur. Damn, some of these words are, you gotta constantly read it to try to understand it, get this correct pronunciation. But for we can now presume the Lifsbyrdur must lie somewhere beyond Strumini, which is beyond Kielnis, which is beyond Crossenes. And Crossenes, it may be recalled, seems apparently to be not altogether distant from Lifsbyrdur. The main story goes on. There is minor version which states that Karlsefni went on with only 40 men for a period of 2 months, leaving 100 on the island, then returned to Strumni after certain events. The most acceptable version says that all, or most, of the complement pushed on and, after a long way, reached a place which they named Hop. Hop became a sizable settlement either immensely or soon thereafter. It is the most completely described of Vinland settlements, and the population at one time was as high as 150. Some scholars believe that this figure may be over 200. Moreover, they are known to have had cattle and other livestock along with them. A rough description of the settlement goes: there were houses, shelters, down near the water, and more farms further back on the other side of the hill. All the hillsides were covered with vines, and all the valleys grew self-sown wheat. The river flowed down the land from the north into the lake, and then into the sea. And halibut were caught, and pigs dug in the marshes. Okay, it is the contention of this work that Hop was, in fact, one and the same place as Lifsbyrdur. Few scholars have made this connection, but when the sagas are read in their entirety, this becomes more evident. Events proceed in the following manner, however. At the same time, following spring, contact is made with a group of natives who are described always with the derogatory name of Skrellings, which means screeches or barbarians. They are described as small, dark, ugly men with unkempt hair, broad cheekbones, and bulging eyes. I repeat, they are described as small, dark, ugly men with unkempt hair, broad cheekbones, and bulging eyes. And let me get it so you can get it clear. You can see this. Okay, these are the Vikings going to Greenland. All right. This initial contact, though cautious, is fair enough, and soon trading begins between them. It is in this period when the variations, not severe, become apparent between the Greenlandic sagas and the Icelandic ones. One senses at all times the two groups and also the several individual narrators who lived out the drama. One says the natives come out of the woods. The other says they came by boats. Of the water approach, it is said that a number approach, stand off the point, and wave their stars, shields, sunwise, east to west. This is interpreted as indicating peaceful intentions. The Norse held out a white shield as an indicator of peaceful intent. This is interpreted by the natives as the Vikings wish. The natives land, and on this and several subsequent visits, trading is commenced. Now, I'm going to stop there, man. I told you who Thorhall was. And you see, this is where the Vikings are going to Greenland. All right? And the Vikings travel over here to the Americas. These were Negroes, man. These were Negroes. I just read to you. These are Negroes who came upon another group of Negroes. The original people in America's period were Negroes. All through these little places where the climate may have not been warm, because once you go further north, it gets colder. It's not as warm when you go south, especially when you get to near the equator, it's warmer. Negroes were there all over, and they still maintain their darker skin. You can be dark-skinned and live in a cold climate. White folks are a mutation from Negroes. They come from so-called Negroes. None of these groups were white, period. None of them were white. I want to really point that out, man. That's why I read McRitchie's book first to talk about when he brought in the Black Danes. Then I want to read this talking about the Vikings and Thorhall. And if you study Thorhall, McRitchie talks about that in his book, describing Thorhall as a black man. All right? And Thorfinn. These are nothing but Negroes, man. The original Vikings were Negroes. I also have images of the Oslo sledge showing you those little Negroes, those diminutive short Negroes, just like them little short little Negroes in America, who were the first people who arrived in Americas, ruled the Americas. Those are the first Vikings. Them little short, diminutive Negroes. They were not no pale-skinned white folks. I want to emphasize this. This is why we need to learn our true history. Man, and stop listening to these stupid Pan-Africans, man, because they are really stupid, man. And I've gotten to the point, I don't hear anything from them. Because they're really ignorant and stagnant. And like I said, stupid. I'm Umar Johnson, man. I'm the descendant of African slaves. I'm the prince of Pan-Africanism. You're the prince of being an idiot. Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. We need to get all of our history. And then in some of these names are tongue twisters. So if I get it wrong, I apologize. So I really apologize about that. But we're going to really have to really dig into our history. We need to understand the good and the bad in our history. Because we had people who were good, and we had some people who were no good. And just because they're black, that means we just need to honor them. They were no damn good. They were dirty as hell. So I want to emphasize that. I'm going to talk about this stuff more. I'm also talk about white slavery. I want to get to pirates and stuff. I want to I want to get to a lot of stuff. I have so much I want to get to, man. When I'm saying, like, when you look at the thing, like, from A to Z, from all the stuff I've done, the videos I've done, I'm just thinking I'm at a B. Because there's so much about our history, man, that has to be talked about. And it's been distorted, and we've been lied to. Totally lied to. On who we are and our true history. So, I want to read you that, and I want you to catch that verse when it talks about the Skraelings. They call them small, dark, ugly men with unkempt hair, broad cheekbones. Small, dark, ugly man with unkempt hair and broad cheekbones. And then Thorhall, who was a Negro. See, if you knew that Thorhall, who he was, and then that description of the Skraelings, so-called Skraelings, you'll know that you had a Negro come upon another Negro group. All right, brothers and sisters, man. I just want to throw that out real quick. Peace.